In the meantime, no wonder some are saying, just stop this merry-go-round. And no wonder the business-as-usual crowd is already slapping them around. With me now, spending watcher, Washington watcher, Sabrina Schaefer. Sabrina, the problem is always the same, right? I mean, that if you dare bring attention to this, it's almost as if the mainstream media zeroes in on you for dare doing so.
That's right. I mean, of course, the Republicans have little political leverage at this point, but I don't think the American people have the stomach to continue this kind of spending binge when we have a $17 trillion debt that we're facing.
But, you know, I think a lot of people don't even know what's going on. I mean, we brought attention to this food bill, or this farmer's bill, and immediately they started saying, well, you know, a lot of that is food stamps, which we did get into separately. That alone was a sin, because now it's to the point where 1 in 3 Americans are getting some sort of food assistance. If we're up to 1 in 3 Americans needing food assistance, right now that would make us Mozambique, but I digress. The other issue is line by line all this waste, but it was sold in the idea that it was a farmer's bill. In other words, everyone loves farmers, so how could you be against something that's tucked in a farm bill?
Right, and even the president has coupled it with this sort of whole effort to bring more federal resources to rural America. But we know that as much as farmers like to present the farm bill as a way of preserving the small American farmer, it's the opposite, right? This is corporate welfare. It's subsidies for big staple crops like corn and soybeans. But unfortunately, in this bill in particular, 80% is going toward food stamps, which you and I have talked about is rife with fraud right now, and we are pretty sure is not the best way at helping Americans get back on their feet.
But you have to wonder, too, when you call that into question, Republicans or conservatives are for starving people, they're against this. No one is saying that those who genuinely need stuff will get stuff, and should get stuff, particularly when it comes to items like food. I would stand back on the catfish. I would let them go.
Right. Well, one of the things that I think is really important that conservatives emphasize is that by opposing sort of this kind of government largesse, that doesn't mean that we want to do it alone society, right? I don't want to turn my backs on those who are really in need. But what's important to recognize is that all of this government growth actually crowds out civic society. It decreases our our ability to depend on ourselves.
And there is the other little detail that we don't have the money. There is that little detail.
That's a big one, right? Yeah. That we really can't afford this, and there are better, more efficient, more effective ways of helping people at the local level.
Yeah. Sabrina, well put, better than I. Thank you. Good seeing you again.
Thanks, Neil.
By the way, this issue of accountability, it's a huge